and welcome to How Do You Drew?
This is a Drew Barrymore podcast brought to you by thedrewseum.com.
And sponsored by our friends at Positive Medium.
I'm Anne.
And I'm Ashley.
Hello.
Hello, friend.
Welcome to episode 25.
Yeah, we're a quarter of the way to 100.
That's pretty weird. I feel like we just started this, but at the same time, I'm like, technically we've been doing it for 26 weeks because we skipped a week. Like,
Oh, yeah.
That's so weird.
Wow. Well, we're going to have to keep coming up with creative ways to celebrate each number.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of numbers.
Yes.
All right. I've got the official count on the People magazine cover features. Actually, you got it. You're the one that found the 14th cover.
Oh, that's right. So we talked about that. I think we left it in the podcast that I have a list of my magazines. Unfortunately, I think it only goes up to like 2019, but it helped us find this.
Helped you find it. This is all you.
Okay. So we realized that there was an issue on April 18th, 2016, when Will and Drew split.
Inside Drew's sad split.
Yes. So that was the cover that we were missing. On top of the wedding one that was pointed out to us, but also they're split. So I guess maybe like you just had a blindness for the Will situation.
Well, maybe.
No, I know it was also the Candids thing, but
yeah, the wedding one was Candids, and then the cover photo for this one was not done for People. So it was a photo shoot done for something else, so that it wasn't in our files under People.
Yep.
But anyway, People was right. They actually knew what they were talking about. There were 14.
Good job. Good job, People magazine. Okay. We trust you.
I know, right? We have some really nice mail today. I'm excited about this one.
Okay, great.
You've got mail.
This comes from my friend Alex, whose Instagram is now up and running for @ScreamStyleSleuth.
Oh, cool.
It's so good. He knows how to track down like every costume and like what brand it was, and it's really fun, and it's good to see it picking up steam. So congrats, Alex. But he
that's
had
really
some
cool.
Really nice feedback for us.
Okay. Alex said, I'm not much of a podcast person or even a Drewbie really, although I do love her. Heart. But listening to you guys has been such a joy. I've learned so much about Drew and her little world over the past few months. It's so refreshing to hear two friends who are so knowledgeable and passionate about something they care so much about. Even when episodes are long, they never feel like a slog because your excitement comes through with everything you say. I especially love and appreciate how dedicated to accuracy you guys are, down to the littlest detail. Yes. I just know one day Drew will hear about the podcast and make arrangements to appear on it.
Oh, isn't that great?
It's like all the stuff that I would want someone to say.
Totally. I know. And like,
so nice.
You know, he's not necessarily a Drewbie, so he's not exactly in the like key demographic, but still is enjoying it. Made me feel really good.
Oh, that's really sweet. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that.
Aww. So we're going to kind of skip the Drewism of the week today, even though there was an example. You can only watch this on Paramount Plus on the full episodes of the show, but she did lose her mind over tangible paper. Have you watched it yet?
Yes, and I loved it so
It was basically like Drew being as Drew as possible, but you have to watch it. It's more of a visual thing. She's like wrapping herself in paper maps and rubbing dictionaries all over her body.
And Ross is over there just cracking up.
Yeah.
It's really good. But in lieu of that, Ashley came up with a new segment.
Yeah. So as we all know, Drew is a very optimistic, passionate, enthusiastic person, which leads to her claiming her love for many, many, many things.
Many things, yes.
Many things.
She is a lover.
So this past week, I was like, I'm just going to make a list of everything that she says she loves on her show. And let's see if it comes out in a like fun way. So we're going to introduce a new segment called Drew Loves.
I love love.
All right. Drew loves a rom-com, Lunar New Year, cottage cheese.
Me too.
Panko breadcrumbs, mixed metals, drooling.
Okay.
A shreddy letty, which is shredded lettuce.
And when I saw that, I thought of Jay Shetty.
Oh yeah, that's weird. Pictionary, mirepoix, saffron, a clam juice, and a fish sauce. some Elijah Wood. Oh,
Ooh.
relatable. Monty Python, a strawberry blonde, and a redhead. And of course, paper.
Paper. And that was just in the past week on her show?
That's all. I only gathered this in the past week from the show. Yep.
I love it. And I also love the idea that we can, maybe when we're like doing a magazine, we can be like, here's all the things she said she loved in this issue.
Yeah, that's true.
That's really
like
great. And I love this segment.
Okay, we'll keep it coming then. I thought it was like an experiment, but it ended up cracking me up so much. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this.
It's so perfect. I think my favorite's got to be Shreddy Letty.
Oh,
I think Shreddy Letty also feels kind of like a Druism. So there we go.
It does. Okay. And she said it to Wolfgang Puck, and he like totally didn't understand what she was talking about. He did not get it.
That's amazing. Okay, so what do you have for us in this week in Drew history?
All right, let's travel back to a favorite year, 1995. On February 7th, Drew did press for Boys on the Side. So we know for a fact that she appeared on MTV. She did an interview with John Sensio. I definitely have it on video somewhere, like footage I got from someone else kind of thing. And she like wears some of those wacky sunglasses that I think she wears at the end of Saturday morning cartoon.
Okay. Yeah.
But then there's whatever talk show that she was on with the snake. So we've all seen the pictures of her holding the snake.
Yes.
I just remembered it being in YM and it said, "Scream, Drew, that's a boa you're holding." So dumb. But why will I ever never forget that? But we don't know what this show was. Like, I've tried to figure it out.
And I feel like this is another one where we have like a bunch of clippings. Like you mentioned this YM clipping, but there's a whole bunch of her with the snake.
Yeah. And like there's one where she's showing her butterfly tattoo, which was fairly new at the time.
Yep.
And we just don't know what the talk show was. So hopefully one day, obviously one day we are going to know. But yeah, she's wearing like, I feel like you're really into the look that she's sporting in this, right?
It's funny because I really like her look when she was promoting Boys on the Side. And it's not because of any one specific thing. Like her hair is like messy pixie. That time she was like wearing like a lot of like, they almost look like men's button ups. Like
totally.
Lots like big collars, like look really 70s. So there's not one specific thing, but yes, I love all the stuff from this era.
Awesome. Well, yeah, it's a cute one. We'll put up some pictures on the episode page.
Yep. So good find. That's awesome. All right. So now what can you tell me about what's new with Drew?
I sure can. So if you recall, way back in early October, Drew had Jay Shetty on Drew's News podcast. And I remember you said you thought he was handsome.
Yes.
Anyway,
yes.
I don't know why I had to include that.
Jay Shetty Letty.
Yeah. Jay Shreddy Letty. No, it's not working. I feel like she'd have fun with that one. Anyway, so finally, like when he was on her show, so it was probably recorded back in September.
Yeah.
She had also recorded his show, but it never came out until this week. And I figured it's probably because he also just came on the talk show this week to promote his new book. So I guess they probably timed her episode of his podcast with that. But so you got to keep in mind it's like several months old when you listen to it, because she is talking about like dating and stuff, and it feels outdated at this point for what we kind of know is going on with her.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really good. She actually fully starts crying in it.
Aww.
Yeah, very vulnerable, very Drew. The main things I took note on, just that I wanted to mention, was she brought up that Tupperware metaphor again that we had mentioned a couple weeks ago, where she's
can you remind me again?
It's basically just like, we're all humans inside of bodies. So like we're just souls inside of Tupperware or whatever.
That's right.
But on this one, she said that comes from her dad. So I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
That is kind of cool. And then she also talked at the very end of this about trusting your gut in a way that's so similar to how she did in our last episode in the Jane 1997 magazine.
Awesome.
I know. So that kind of gave me that link of like, see, we knew she'd still relate to all the things she said in that magazine.
Yep. That's so cool. I love it.
Me too. Okay, big one. Drew got a new tattoo.
So cool. What year was the last one? I guess it was the script that she got on her arm on the show,
Yeah.
right?
So what was that, 2021?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not that long, but yeah, I didn't think we knew another one was coming. It definitely
Yep.
was exciting. It's her 11th tattoo, which is
Yep.
pretty awesome. So it was done with her good friend Savannah Guthrie, who's from the
Mhm.
Today Show. They
Mhm.
are definitely really good friends, and they had talked about, like, Savannah was on her show months ago, and they had
Mhm.
talked about getting tattoos together because Savannah
Cool.
had never gotten one. So they've been planning it, and they're promoting a new project, which we'll get to.
Yep.
So anyway, they did it at Drew's New York apartment, and it was done by John Boy Tattoo. And he even was in the audience of the show on Friday because I guess he really likes Jay Shetty's. So Drew brought
Oh, cool.
I know, it's cute. So they are 3 sardines. She specifically used that word sardines, so they're not like weird fish. Well,
Yep.
I guess sardines are weird fish, but and it's to represent her, Olive, and Frankie. And she said that it's like the 3 of them in bed, basically like 3 sardines in a tin.
So cute.
But I go
I
ahead.
know that aesthetically you and Jolena weren't really a fan of it. I was like, this is cute because she's a Pisces, it's fish, and then I didn't really think of the connection of the 3 being her, Olive, and Frankie. But when she said that, I'm like, that makes me like it more. But yeah, they're just simple outlines. It's like really cute.
Yeah, very simple. I definitely went to the Pisces thing when I first saw them, and then I was laughing because I was like, it's almost as random as her little bird tattoo. And then I was thinking, because we were talking so much about a bird may love a fish
quote
from Ever After. I'm like, oh, she had to get the fish to go with the birds because she listened to our podcast. That's what it is.
Of course that's why. And it's her bird is also an outline, so definitely they definitely go together.
I know. Oh, and it is on her. We should say this. It is on her left arm, right above, like closer to her body, above the breathe tattoo.
Yep.
Or is that right? Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Her and Savannah also appeared on the Today Show, and they talked about this. They were like gonna do this right after they filmed it.
Yep.
But basically, they are promoting the Princess Power children's show on Netflix that we had discussed quite a few weeks ago. It was announced. It has debuted on Netflix. It's animated and looks really cute. I haven't watched it yet. I did see in the opening credits of the show that it is produced by several people, but people we know and love would be Drew, and then Ember Truesdale, Chris Miller, and Nancy Javonen. So it's really nice to see. I don't know if they just like automatically get a credit when something is done under the Flower Films banner.
Yeah, maybe, or if they're actually involved. I imagine it takes some involvement, but that's cool.
Yeah, and then I'd seen footage of Drew like in the recording booth, sound booth. So I was like, oh, she must do a voice. And Savannah said on the Today Show that she did a voice. So I thought the quickest way to find it would be to watch the credits of every single episode, the ending credits.
Yeah.
And she never appeared as credited. So I guess she did an uncredited role, because then I found an Instagram post that the animation company who did this, and they showed like her character, and she's called Head Mistress Miranda.
Okay. Does it look like Drew?
No, not at all. She's got like short, actually, maybe she looks like 95 Drew. She's like short blonde hair.
That's interesting.
The episodes are only 12 minutes long, so I'll definitely like dig into them eventually and figure out which ones she appears in.
Cool.
Yep. Oh yeah. And then the last thing they did that's notable to promote, they appeared on that YouTube channel I know you love called Recess Therapy.
Yep, I love it. I was really excited to see this pop up. So Recess Therapy, yes, you're correct. I do love it. So Julian, who's the host, he talks to children in the park. You probably famously saw the Corn Kid. That was the thing that kind of went really big. And they also had that kid on Drew's show. So there was already kind of a connection between Recess Therapy and the Drew Barrymore show, at least mildly. And then Susanna Guthrie and Drew went on and talked to kids about princesses. And there's just a few minute long video where kids are saying really cute things like, yeah, we like that, princesses, like in this show, because I think they've like showed the kids the show or something. but they're like talking about that, like they want to see princesses doing everything that everyone can do, that like boys can do things girls can do. It's really cute.
Yeah,
and
it's adorable.
Recess therapy is really sweet anyway. It's like
Wholesome humor.
playful, wholesome, silly. Like there are videos for recess therapy that I actually quote.
Oh, I love that.
So I love recess therapy, and I was excited to see it.
So fun. All right, our last little bit of news is that Drew attended the New York Knicks basketball game, and she got sitting in the front row, and she was sitting alongside actor Ryan Eggold. I'm not familiar with him, like as far as his career, but he had been on the Drew Barrymore show years ago, and they had told this story about a time that they had hung out, and it definitely had sounded like they were talking about being on a date.
Oh,
they never like specified it, but the way the story went, it totally sounded like they had been on a date.
Oh,
yeah. So, and it definitely looks like they attended this together. So maybe a date. And she looks really cute.
Really cute.
And I don't know if you've like clocked that she has not worn jeans for a really long time. She's kind of like swore them off, she said.
Oh.
Like she just doesn't feel like, almost like she doesn't feel like her body looks good enough to wear them.
Oh.
So I thought it was like a really cute sign that she was wearing jeans and feeling
Yeah,
adorable.
she looks, the couple of pictures that you sent me, she looks like really happy. So whether it's just a friendly hang, it's whatever it is, like she seems to be enjoying her company and enjoying the time.
Yeah.
So that's great. I have no idea what that means about our guesses about the other person that we thought she was dating, but maybe she's also just keeping her options open. I don't know.
Yeah, good for her.
But she looks sweet and she looks happy. So whatever's going on, something's going right.
I love it. All right. And that wraps up what's new with Drew. So should we get into what's really old with Drew, our weekly topic?
Tell me, what's old with Drew?
So this was an idea that you came up with quite a while ago. And I remember being like, I don't know how this will work. And then once I started like working on it, I was like, oh, this is going to be kind of fun.
But we decided to do music videos. So Drew has not only appeared in a handful of music videos, but she also directed a big one. So we'll talk about all the ones that she's appeared in, and then we'll jump into the amazing directed by Drew Barrymore, our deal. So let's start with the two from 1986.
Oh boy, they are so rough.
They especially the first, I would say, didn't age well.
Oh my God. I was like dying of secondhand embarrassment, but go ahead, introduce it.
Okay, so the first one is, like I said, 1986. It's the Beach Boys' Rock and Roll to the Rescue.
Even the title, I'm like, oh.
The song, so like I enjoy Beach Boys, but I definitely enjoy like a different
classic
Beach Boys than this.
Yes, not like, oh my God, these white dudes who are old trying to dance look cool, and I just can't take it.
I think the cringiest part is just how much the like female form has to do with, like, this whole video is like
girls in bikinis.
It's just like sexy ladies in bikinis. and yeah, so Drew's appearance, the first time you see her, I believe she's like rating one of the girls in bikinis.
No, she's rating a guy. So she and another girl,
okay.
They're like sitting on the beach. So Drew's 11 here.
Yep.
And her and another girl are sitting on the beach, and like a guy walks by and Drew holds up like a paddle with a number on it to rank him. Okay, 11-year-old. That's weird. And then like there's a brief clip where she's dancing with Brian Wilson, which has a cool connection, we'll explain. But then there's like another part where a different guy goes by and they both give him a 10 and run after him.
Except it's funny because I think they only have 0 to 9 because they just have one thing. So together they make 10 and then they run after him. It's so silly.
It's so, but I think, oh my God.
At least the like, I don't remember the age of the first guy, but I think at least the second guy, it's like a young guy. So it's not like they're inappropriately running after an older man. Like at least it's like a young man.
I guess we'll give them that.
But But Drew looks really cute. It's of course very brief. But yeah, go ahead and talk about the Brian Wilson connection.
Yeah, well, it's kind of cool. So we don't really know why she would have appeared in this at that time. Who knows? But it's really neat that she actually worked with Brian Wilson again way later in, I think, 1999, because he did a digital remix of Don't Worry Baby for the Never Been Kissed soundtrack. So there's some
cool.
photos of them like in the studio together. So that's just kind of a fun connection.
That's cool. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Really neat. And then you have a note here that there were candid photos from filming, which I don't even remember. So I'm sure
really?
I can have my memory refreshed when you post them.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, that was a funny one. I'll let you introduce the second 1986.
Okay, so now we have by Dweezil Zappa. It's called Let's Talk About It.
Mm-hmm.
This one definitely like made me crack up about how Nepo babies is so a thing right now. And like these two, so it's Dweezil playing guitar and then his sister Moon is singing.
Yeah.
And it's definitely like, oh, these two only got to do this because their dad was a famous musician.
Yep.
And the weird thing is we didn't know about this video up until I think like the past year. And it was only because I was scouring like some People magazine archives and there was a mention about it. And I was like, what is this thing talking about? So even like if you look at the YouTube video or the IMDb, like none of it mentions Drew. You really have to know she's in it to find her.
Yep. It's really cool. One thing that you noted here is that Drew, and I think even in her book, she might talk about Moon and Dweezil. Do you know if she does?
I think you're right. Yeah, that feels familiar.
Maybe we'll talk about that again when we do Little Girl Lost. But there are some photos of Drew with Moon and Dweezil at the Limelight in 1985. So they already had like a slight connection before this when she was, at nightclubs as a child,
dancing and partying.
Normal. And then there are a couple other cameos in this. So Drew's not the only one.
Yeah.
There's Don Johnson, Jane Fonda, Robert Wagner, and I don't know who Daphne Zuniga is.
She was on Melrose Place, funnily enough.
Okay.
Yeah. Just another like connection back to Drew. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
I actually don't think it's as bad as the Rock and Roll to the Rescue. I was like, this is cheesy, but it's mostly just like close-ups of Moon singing, close-ups of Dweezil's like lime green guitar.
Yeah. And then we get our brief moment of Drew, and I'm talking brief, where I mean, this makes no sense. Again, she's 11. She's sitting on the floor and holding a boom mic while Dweezil plays guitar. So random.
I mean, if there weren't other cameos in it, I might be like, maybe she was just on set.
Right.
And they were like, let's just record it. But she looks cute. She's wearing
adorable.
A black outfit with like red tights. It's super cute.
Very 80s.
Yeah. And when I was watching it, I think I had watched it when you discovered that People Mag mentioned that you talked about. But I was like, where is she in this?
Oh, totally. It takes a long time.
And it's like kind of close to the end, but it's very cute. And I love that we know about it. I feel like there's probably others we don't know about.
I know. That's kind of my worry. I'm like, what else are we going to not worry? But well, kind of worry. I like to be accurate and thorough.
Okay. So next we jump all the way to 1995 and we've got Bonnie Raitt's You Got It. We've got You Got It. It was for the Boys on the Side soundtrack. We already mentioned Boys on the Side earlier, and she actually kind of looks similar to how she looked at that event.
Good call.
In this video, her hair's a little shorter.
Yeah.
So in the music video, she appears like as herself with Whoopi Goldberg and Mary Louise Parker. And it's super cute. They're like dancing and kind of singing along. And then just like old music videos that were done for soundtracks, there are clips interspersed with the film. So then one thing that they do a couple times in the film is they'll like show a clip of like, I think there's a part where they show Mary Louise Parker and Whoopi hugging in the movie. And then they hug in person. And then in Boys on the Side, there's a scene when Drew walks down the stairs when she's pregnant. And then in the music video, Drew walks down the stairs and then they kind of intersperse it with a clip of her doing the same. And it sort of looked like the same staircase. I don't know if that matters, but I was like, could it be the same place? And I was like, it doesn't matter.
It is really cute though. I like this video a lot. Unfortunately,
it's super cute.
There's no like great versions of it quality wise on YouTube, but you still can get the vibe and how adorable Drew is in it.
The last thing I want to note about that is that she's wearing her own belt in it.
I know. I noticed that too with the butterfly
Yeah.
buckle.
Yeah, so we should put a picture in from like the Tommy Boy premiere or
Okay.
something where she's wearing it.
Good idea. Okay. And then she does another video the next year in 1996. Again, I feel like we did not know about this one for a long time. I don't even
Yeah.
remember how it was discovered. And this is probably her quickest cameo appearance. So this is for the Posies and their music video for Richie Dagger's Crime. And in my research, I was like, why was she in this? And I did read that this song appeared on a tribute album for the band The Germs, and
Okay.
that Hole also had a song on there. And so I think there's a connection because I also read that supposedly Eric is in the video. Did you catch him anywhere? Because I couldn't find
No, but it might have also been the quality. Like,
him. True.
I even had a hard time seeing Drew.
Yeah.
I knew it because we'd seen it before, but no, I did not spot Eric. And he's
Okay.
pretty hard to miss. He's like
Yeah.
very tall, and at the time he was very blonde. Like, but no, I did not see him.
Maybe they cut him out.
Maybe.
But yeah, it's basically like a carnival in the park. It's got the great 90s color saturation that
Yep.
just like totally takes me back. And Drew briefly appears. There's a bunch of people who are like putting their faces through a cardboard cutout, like,
Mhm.
you know, at a carnival. And she briefly appears and does a little kissy face, and she's got her black hair and sunglasses, and it's very cute. 1996 Drew.
It is very cute. So now we jump to another one where she appears through the whole video in 1999, Swirl 360. I'm sure you are so aware of them. Candy in the Sun is the music video. This was okay, so I guess it is kind of a soundtrack music video, but not in the same way that You Got It was.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, because it is for the soundtrack for Never Been Kissed. I even think they used no, I was gonna say they used the song in the trailers, but I don't know. Did they? It feels like kind of like they did.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to confirm that.
Ashley, you were right. They used it as well as Violent Femme's Blister in the Sun.
But it is so funny. Like, if you haven't seen Never Been Kissed, what would you think? Like, okay, so I guess I'll just describe it.
Okay.
There are a whole bunch of girls who are like running after the Swirl 360 guys, like running after their car, like imagine like Beatles fans
Totally.
from like the 1950s. And they're all dressed like Josie from Never Been Kissed, specifically the black bottoms, pink top with the bright pink flower, and then a brighter pink cardigan, right?
Yeah, and they all have like long
The
curly
hair.
wigs.
Yes. So they're all dressed like that, and they're all following the car around. But at one point, like, Drew runs into the car and she drives. But it doesn't seem like they care about Drew.
No, they're
even though
just
they're all
there for
dressed
the
like her.
baby
Yes.
boys.
But Drew is so cute in this video. The song, I'm like, whatever about it. It's not offensive to me. It feels exactly 1999.
Totally.
But it's really cute. And I do also remember there was a cute clipping, maybe
Yeah.
in Rolling Stone.
Yep, it was in Rolling Stone of Drew and the guys. Yep.
Yep.
I don't think you can emphasize enough how cute she is in it. Like
Yeah.
she's like driving this car, singing along, putting her head out the window, like just being. This was like the peak of my obsession, my early
Yeah.
obsession, and I just was like in love. Like she's just adorable in it.
She looks really cute. They light her really beautifully.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's cool. It has like an interesting tone, like color tone to it, like kind of like bluish purple inside the car a little bit.
Yeah.
It's really cute. So if you don't watch any of the other music videos, you got to watch this one for how cute Drew is in this.
I know. I'm working on a compilation of all her clips to put on Instagram. So watch for that in the next day or two.
Awesome.
But I had a hard time editing that one down. I was like, there's just too many. This one has to be long.
That makes sense.
Okay. And then we get to the last video before we get to the biggie.
Yep.
The most recent one, and aptly titled Drew Barrymore is the name of the song by SZA. So she has said that the song was heavily inspired by 90s movies featuring Drew, like Never Been Kissed and Poison Ivy. And she just imagined the vibe of the song to be like on the soundtrack to one of those.
Cool.
Yeah. And she also has shared that Drew is her favorite actress and a constant inspiration. And films like Never Been Kissed struck a chord with her because she identified as an outcast in high school. And she said that Drew's just always been a positive influence on her career. So
Love it.
yeah, the song isn't like about Drew. It's just kind of titled that because of all these reasons that we just stated.
Yep. And once again, Drew has the tiniest of cameos. I think this one is just as small as the one from the Dweezil Zappa.
Yeah, but more like appropriate. Like it's perfect. So the tone of her appearance and just like quickly, it works so well in the
That's
video.
true. And it's more featured as it's like this is Drew Barrymore and it's her face. But she just quickly walks by SZA and just smiles. And it's really cool. I don't know if we mentioned that it was from 2017. I think you did say. But that's our last of the Drew cameo music videos. And then we'll get into the big guy after a little break.
Come on back.
Howdy, Drewbies.
We want to tell you about our sponsor, Positive Medium. We've actually been clients of theirs for at least 10 years, and they take care of all of our website needs for thedrewsam.com.
They offer custom web design and professional coding, search engine optimization, marketing, and hosting. So we've been hosted by them, but we've also been able to take advantage of a lot of their expertise in these other areas as well.
Absolutely. So customer service is the biggest draw for us with this company. They have saved our site literally from obliteration quite a few times. But then they also help us with minor issues in just like literally a matter of minutes. So if we have like a coding question or just like something on the back end we can't figure out, we reach out to them and we get an answer back and the issue is solved within moments.
We're so excited that Positive Medium is allowing us to offer our listeners 25% off managed WordPress hosting plans using our promo code DREW, D-R-E-W, of course. And if you want to take advantage of this, visit positivemedium.com. We really, really vouch for these people. They've been so great to us and will continue to be great to us. I can only imagine.
I mean, they're great by offering this to our listeners. So take advantage. Again, it's promo code DREW, of course.
When you leave me, the bed is empty, and I feel crazy.
Okay, so now the main event.
Da-da-da!
In 2011, 2 years after Drew had directed and released Whip It, she directed Best Coasts Are a Deal. And we're going to go through it a little bit today. And we're going to give you some background on the video. And here we go. So unfortunately, this is the last thing that she directed. Hopefully she will do some more stuff in the future.
Yeah, for now, this is the last
For now. Yes. So let's get into it.
Okay, so this was considered, I guess MTV was doing something at the time called super videos where there wasn't like a band performing. It was just videos that like told a story, kind of like mini films. That's my understanding. I don't remember this being a thing, but I wasn't watching MTV anymore at this time.
Gotcha. So I like this little note here. Drew kept finding herself Shazamming Best Coast songs, and she loved the whole album and then finally went to go see them live in 2011. And then she went backstage and talked about how they could work together. I guess that's kind of crazy. It's the same year that they actually did the video. They made this happen.
Yeah.
One reason I love this is because sometimes there are like groups or artists that I keep like Shazamming. Like I don't know their music, but I'm like, why haven't I looked this person up yet? Like I keep doing this. So I love that happened to Drew where she's like, who is this again?
I know. Like I'll find myself like I have Spotify playing all day long at work and it'd just be like random playlists, not ones that I've made. And I'll be like, oh, I like this. Who's this? And I'll go look and it's like, yeah, the same kind of artists will come up. So I totally relate to that too.
That's kind of the equivalent of Shazamming now. It's kind of like, who is this that I'm listening to on this Spotify radio?
On this streaming, yeah.
Yes.
We have someone from MTV named Kashi Khalidi, and Kashi ended up executive producing the video, but this person came to Drew with the opportunity. And Drew has said, I've never done a music video and I've always wanted to. The format is dying. What I love about music videos are the stories in them. So it just feels like it all kind of fell into place perfectly.
Yeah, totally. Drew said that she didn't want to do a period piece. And then she said, for this, I thought stick with timeless. Take the jean jacket. It's the 50s, 70s, 90s now. And then she said, I've never met a graffiti I didn't like. That's how it all started. I've never met a graffiti
I know. I
didn't
feel
like.
like that could have been in Drew Loves a
I was just gonna
graffiti.
say that. I was just gonna say that.
So she wrote a mini script for this, and she did all, her usual prep homework that we know she likes to do of what she
Yep.
wanted the video to look like. Did she do like a mood board? Did she do like put a little tape together, a video?
I was picturing like the walls of printed out pictures,
Yeah,
like we know that
totally.
she did for Whip It.
I bet you she did. So she was inspired by just some of these things. There's so many: Romeo and Juliet, and The Outsiders, The Warriors, Grease, Rebel Without a Cause, and West Side Story. And you can
Yep.
really see all of those influences in
Yep.
it.
They all come through.
Yeah.
You can feel that like right away.
Totally.
The concept started as a 2-minute music video, and then she asked MTV to expand it to almost 11 minutes. So this extended version that we know was like, she was like, I've got too much good content.
Yeah.
let's keep this all unedited.
I love that. So they filmed in only 2 days in downtown LA. And she said, I spent 3 years on Whip It, and to do this in 2 days, wow, it gave me hope that you don't have to take yourself so seriously. So I guess she kind of like, was able to let go of a little control maybe, and just like, let's just make this happen.
Yeah, I could see that. She also said that she was feeling kind of sick about not being able to pull it off because it was a big, she'd never directed a music video before. She said that Will shared with her the quote that a great idea can come out of not a lot of time and money. So
It's really nice. I
there you
like
go.
that. And
Yeah.
clearly was the inspiration she needed.
Totally.
Okay, so the video stars Chloe Grace Moretz. Apparently Drew wrote the part for her, which is cool.
Cool.
And Tyler Posey, and they're the romantic leads, and they're from these rival gangs, a la West Side Story, or however you want to compare it.
I thought West Side Story for sure. That was my
Yeah.
first thing. Yeah.
And then we have some of the other notable gang members on either team. This is the Night Creepers and the Day Trotters. Aaliyah Shawkat, who of course worked with Drew and Whip It. And
Mhm.
then also Miranda Cosgrove, Shailene Woodley, and Donald Glover, which is pretty powerhouse cast.
Yep. And I think at the time, some of them were big and some of them not so much, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
Donald Glover is definitely blown up since. I feel like Miranda Cosgrove has. Chloe Grace Moretz, I think, has done a bunch of stuff. I think Tyler Posey at the time was on like did he play a werewolf on something?
Yeah, I think it was Teen Wolf on MTV.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
And then Shailene Woodley got an Oscar nomination.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think, like soon after this. So
I think you're right.
Quick clarification, she was nominated for a Golden Globe and a Screen Actors Guild and some others for The Descendants, but not an Academy Award.
pretty cool.
There are also some fun cameos. We talked about this briefly when we had Tony on.
Yeah.
So there are some Flower staffers that pop up, including Brent Kyle and Tony Crago. And also Drew's friend and musician Harmar Superstar shows up. So that's kind of cool. It's like just people that maybe not a lot of people would know. I guess we were trying to figure out how like famous Harmar is, and we still don't really know.
Yeah.
But he shows up in this too, and I think it's like, I want you in this, friend. Come on and come over on set.
Yeah.
Like,
So a lot of connections to Whip It, if you look at it that way too.
that's
'cause
true.
Of course, he has
That's
that
why we
brief
were
cameo.
talking about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then so Drew herself has a cameo again. It's a very, very quick one. It's only in the extended version of the video, so you
Mhm.
have to watch that one. But basically, the whole Night Creepers are on their way to this rumble, and Aaliyah Shawkat kind of does this little "what's up" nod across the street, and Drew and then Bethany Cosentino from Best Coast, they're on the street playing dice, and Drew apparently named their characters the Pimptastics.
Yes. Such a cute little thing.
Yeah, so fast.
So the makeup on this was done by Deborah Ferrulo, who did a
Yay.
lot of stuff with Drew, and we're in contact with her. So check out future possibilities of us having her on. Should I even mention that?
Fingers crossed.
And then the hair was done by Rob Talty or Talty. Had Drew ever worked with them before?
I don't see a connection there. He does
Okay.
a lot of editorial stuff, but I love the hair in this. I think it's all
Yeah.
really fun.
It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. The stylist on the shoot was Alicia Lombardini. And there is a really cool MTV video of her and Drew going through the wardrobe, but you weren't able to find it, unfortunately.
No, I'm so bummed. We do have like some screenshots from it. It was
Okay, that's
really
cool.
cool. I remember liking it a lot. And Drew, I mean, at least there's one other behind the scenes video that has remained on YouTube.
Mhm.
We'll include it in the playlist of all of these videos. And Drew just looks so good in in these. I don't know. She's got that red hair and like
Yep.
her makeup is really beautiful. Her face just looks very like, I don't know. I really dig how she looks.
I agree. She does look really amazing in that behind the scenes. I had forgotten about that hair color somehow. Like I was like, wait, I didn't even remember this like reddish, dark reddish hair.
Yeah, that was a good one. I wish it lasted longer.
Yep.
One of the fun things is that Drew kept the earrings that she wears in this. So the earrings she wears in her little cameo, they're
Yep.
these huge gold triangles. And she wore them for years. Like there's even when it's funny because we just talked about her being on SNL briefly for a little cameo in 2018, and she's wearing them there, which is
Oh,
like,
nice.
I love when there's a long span in between her re-wearing something.
Me too.
There's something so like exciting about that.
Yep. Stars are
there's
just like us.
exactly. And then there's also this huge coat, like absolutely gigantic coat. You can briefly see Chloe and Tyler both wear it in the extended version, but that was Drew's. I think it was Drew's before this. I don't
Okay.
think she got it from the shoot, but she wore that in person. In person, she wore that in real life. We'll share some photos.
Cool.
It's just fun.
Yeah, we love this stuff. We love to be like, hey, isn't that from?
Yeah.
Okay, so another little fun thing that you noted, and I totally agree, is that when the cast in the little behind the scenes clip that Ashley will put into the playlist of all the videos that we'll share, all of them are kind of saying that like when Drew would get the shot, she'd be like so excited and clapping and cheering. And it's reminiscent of McG on the set of Charlie's Angels. Like he would like get so excited and have a bunch of enthusiasm. Like I totally agree.
I know.
I love that when Donald Glover is talking about like she told him like look tough and like make a mean face, and then she would like gleefully kind of exclaim, and then he'd be like, it was really hard to like keep that tough face when
Yeah.
Drew was being so enthusiastic. Like
That
I
part
loved
was really
it.
cute.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a whole thing on the Charlie's Angels DVD about how McG was like that, and they show all the things of, yeah, this is great, this is wonderful, this is the best job it's ever been.
That's
So
right.
I'm like, it has to be. I think she took that as like and put it in her toolbox as like, this is how I want to be when I direct.
She probably noticed that it just really got the crew and the cast excited. You
Yeah.
know, like it's hard, long days. Like they did 2 days, but they probably did 2 like 16-hour
Full
days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other thing I noted is that the font for the credits is really similar to Whip It. Did you pick
I
up on
agree.
that too?
Yes, I agree. And it's probably like they probably used the same font because didn't we think that either it was like chosen or maybe made by Brent?
Yeah, we think Brent Kyle was behind it. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So that's just fun. And I love this quote from Drew that I found somewhere along the line. Basically, this is what she said was the greatest lesson that she had in making this video.
Ooh. So she said, if you really push yourself, you could create an opportunity for yourself that wouldn't have happened otherwise. You have to earn it, and you got to go out there and make it happen. How could I push the limit? I feel really lucky. Just another side to me to not sit with your dreams and try to make them manifest.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I like that because it sort of is like the anti waiting for things to happen for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically like ever after. Don't wait around for
Yeah.
yourself to be rescued. Go do it
Yep.
yourself.
Yeah.
And it's also obviously what we're doing with this podcast.
Yep. We're making it happen.
Yeah.
We're pushing ourselves every day.
I mean, we could have sat around and been like, kept going, we should do that. We should do that.
I mean, we kind of did for a long time, and then we got off our asses and made it happen.
We pushed the limit. Yes, this is a fun kind of like brief episode, but I like touching on all these. I don't think that a lot of this stuff is really ever talked about in Drew's career. I think it's kind of
No.
overlooked. So it's fun to go through them all and also think about one of her great directing jobs and how much we would love for her to get behind the camera again and do something like this.
Yeah, Drew, if you're listening, we're rooting for you always.
Always.
Especially if you want to do some more directing.
Or whatever. Go in front of the camera. We'll take it all. Okay, so that pretty much wraps it up. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you want to get over onto the platform where you're listening to this and rate, review, and subscribe, that'd be great. When I say review, you can only do that on Apple Podcasts. So just go on to Apple Podcasts and write up a quick little review for us. The more we get, the more popular we can get, and the more content we can create. It's all connected, guys.
Yep.
And then make sure you follow us on Instagram at How Do You Drew Pod. Like I said, I am working on a little compilation of all the quick clips of Drew in these videos that'll be up in the next few days.
Great. So check it out. Don't forget to visit our website at howdoyoudrew.com. There will be, as always, an episode page, kind of episode guide
Yeah.
for this podcast, as there always is.
And this one will include a link to a YouTube playlist of all the videos in full.
Yes. Which is really fun. I mean, I sat down and watched it. It goes from like the cringy 1980s, slightly less cringy, very, very cute. And then we end with this like, I mean, I think that you have it chronological. So it ends with SZA, which is great.
Yeah.
And then don't forget to send listener mail to howdoyoudrewpod@gmail.com if you want to send us a voice clip, if you want to just send us a little note, you know. We want to just make sure our email address is working. So if you can just do us a favor.
Just send a test one.
Yeah, just send us test and just in there make some notes about your love for Drew. You know, like that's, you think that'll work? You think people are going to think that we're.
What's it going to take?
And as always, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Yay. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This episode of the How Do You Drew podcast was researched and produced by Ashley and Ann from thedrewseum.com with help from our sponsor, Positive Medium.
Special thanks to Matt Costa for our lovely theme song, Roxy Prima for our adorable logo, and last but not least, Drew Barrymore and all the Drewbies who love her. We do this for you.
Thank you.